It's been a long time since I've been on a bit of a soapbox rant.
No, it's not. You say that every other week.
I've come to really hate how the rest of the world now has the internet. It used to be something that like only a few people I knew were involved in. Like, you know, my parents weren't involved in the internet, and people that I knew at work and stuff weren't involved in the internet. And now like normal people are all in on the internet, and they all like know the acronyms and stuff that I grew up, you know, with Quake and stuff like that.
I thought you were being racist, and you meant that you'd been getting trolled by Ethiopians or something like that.
Yeah, I don't mean I hate that like countries like France and stuff have got the internet. I just mean that normal people.
Okay, so it's normal older generations, you mean?
No, not even older generations. I just like even younger people, and the younger people are worse. In fact, younger people are definitely worse
because they talk in the vernacular rather than.
I don't like the whole point of like LOL and all that sort of stuff all came about from the need to try to convey something rather quickly. But now it's just become like a thing. It's come almost like a giant meme, and it annoys
you're showing your age.
Fuck out of me. It's like the whole point before was that like you were playing Quake or something like that. I'll keep going back to Quake, but it's like so you could get your message across and then get back to shooting things.
And this was before the internet could handle mics.
Yeah, you didn't have voice chat.
Back in my day, we didn't have voice chat. You had to actually type that someone had pissed you off rather than saying it and screaming it at the top of your lungs.
And it's like people using Facebook. Facebook annoys the fuck out of me as well. I know we have a Facebook page, right? And our Facebook page is a bit sort of, well...
It's a hooker with its legs open, but not quite as far as the other pages.
See, the sort of page ours is doesn't annoy me. Other people's pages like that don't annoy me. What annoys me is people that put up pictures of their dinner. This is what I cooked today. This is what I'm eating today. Pictures of their kids. I'd
understand if they were out for a nice meal, like it was a posh, really fancy, expensive meal.
People, they're like, I cooked this today. And I was like,
beans on toast.
Beans on toast.
I cooked beans on toast. I mean, like, the internet had to know.
I would get slated for doing it, but I'm almost at the point of like taking pictures of my shits and putting those up. This is what I did today. Check out this brown bastard.
It's been done. There's websites for that.
People who use Twitter as well. Twitter's pretty bad as well. People that retweet celebrities who say things like the whole, I'm eating a sandwich, nom 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 nom. It's like, wow, big fucking whoop. Somebody goes to the effort of retweeting that because everybody else wants to hear about it.
Actually, it annoys me when idiot celebrities say meaningful things with absolutely no understanding of the meaning behind them. And then people retweet those. That annoys me. It's like, what does Paris Hilton know about being yourself? She's 80% artificial. And the other 20% is a gigantic mutant nose.
I don't know why that it annoys me as much as it does. I think it's because people annoy me. People annoy me in general. And this is people having more access to annoy me because they're invading the space that used to belong to me.
It's because you're old. You're getting old. You are sitting there smoking a pipe as well.
It's not quite a pipe.
You have a flat cap.
I don't have a flat cap, but I want one.
Well, see, you're getting old. You're drinking. You're spending an evening sitting there drinking, smoking a pipe.
I'm drinking rosé wine, smoking. It's not a pipe. It's not a pipe per se. It's kind of similar, but yeah.
Did you say rosé as in R-O-S-Y or rosé as in R-O-S-E accent?
I'm drinking rosy wine. She's been blended into a fine pulp.
Charming. When you open the bottle, it screams. That's how you know it's fresh. Asterisk, do not liquefy people.
Bringo Hurty does not condone the liquefaction of people. Except the French.
That's wrong.
Hello and welcome to the Bringo Hurty Gaming Podcast. This is episode 44. I have now drunk most of Rosie, that poor woman. I'm blighty, getting slightly toasted.
Yeah, slightly twisted.
Joined by Flik, who is stone cold sober.
Yes, I am. You also said your own name like it was an adjective there.
It is.
That's a noun.
It is an adjective too.
Well, yeah, the way you used it there was. Yes.
So normally we get together and chat about gaming, but sometimes we get pretty far off.
Sometimes we talk about liquefying prostitutes.
I didn't say she was a hooker. How did you know? I mean...
I read the obituaries and the missing person reports.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
We're like the deep south up in Scotland. It's horrible.
Proper fucking banjo country here.
Got bagpipes, but bagpipes, banjos, same difference.
So,
Gaming.
Yeah. Usually kicked off with what we've been playing over the last 2 weeks. So,
yes.
What have you been playing over the last 2 weeks?
You're saying that because your list is so empty. I remember you saying...
Shh, don't spoil it.
Okay, what will I pick first? I finally got through Max Payne 3. Finally got out of the way, and it was just a chore.
You didn't enjoy it even remotely?
I didn't... Well, it's okay. The gameplay is okay. It's just the visual effects I've moaned about for the last 2 podcasts. I find on my nerves.
I find it so hard to believe that a series as good as Max Payne could be that bad now.
Well, easily, it's not made by the same people. It was made by Rockstar though, so it's not Rockstar North. It's
Rockstar South.
No, not Rockstar South. The other Rockstar branch that's in America, I think. Whichever. It wasn't the ones that do the GTA games because they pretty much just do the GTA games.
Yeah. Oh,
so it wasn't the good Rockstar people who made it, and you can tell.
It's a bit of a shame.
It is a shame, but I'm glad I got it out of the way. I wasn't as far through as I thought it was the very first time I said how long I thought I'd been playing it. It's one of those games that it felt like it was about 50 hours long, but it probably was about 5.
Oh, one of those games.
Yeah. Sorry, I got a bit of phlegm there. We don't need to edit that out, right?
No, it's cool.
No, phlegm is good.
You do that, and now I can sit and smoke indoors. I'll just sit and smoke.
Okay, and I'll talk about Max Payne 3 some more. It was incredibly predictable.
The
story, and I think they tried to turn him into Bruce McClane. I think that's what they were going for, and you can't take a fat noir cop and turn him into Bruce Willis.
I love that you called him Bruce McClane. Like it's
his
like
name.
His alter ego and his actual real name have like merged into this one entity.
That is the name of the guy, isn't it? I'm not wrong.
I'm John Willis.
Oh no, or was it John McClane? I can't remember now.
John McClane, Bruce Willis. Have you been drinking?
No, I just haven't watched the Die Hard film for years. I know they're on every Christmas, but I don't watch anything.
Shame. I have the original trilogy on DVD. I'll lend you it.
I've been there. I've seen them.
You're an old Kentucky shark, and you have been there.
Like you said, I just had a brain fart moment where I combined the actor's name with the... I can always remember McClane because that's all the villains ever shout. I just couldn't remember his first name.
And it's John. And it's like John. The most...
I know. Well, either way, to the extent that they even had Max Payne crawling through vents.
Did he have a dirty...
Fitting the... Yeah, he ended up on some stages just having a dirty shirt, a vest on. He gets roughed up so he looks like shit by the end, all that stuff. The story... I can't go into the plot holes, unfortunately, but it seems like it's an incredibly flawed story about getting him away from New York to use him as a fall guy. That's pretty much the premise.
Right.
Why would you need him to be a fall guy? Why not just have someone from that country? And then they kind of played the angle, but they want an American, so they can blame the Americans. You don't need... Why him? Why an ex-cop who's actually quite talented? Why not just get some bozo from America?
That's true. Get some fat schmuck that sits on the couch all day. Just coax him over to Nicaragua or wherever it is.
Why hire someone talented when you want to set them up and kill them? Hire the bozo. You don't hire the Uber guy.
Is it not like the whole Taken premise, where it just so happens that the father of the daughter that's been abducted has a unique set of skills that mean that he's pretty much the worst fucking possible person that you could piss off by kidnapping his daughter. It's just, what are the odds?
Slapping the Hulk's daughter. It's just, oh shit. It's one of those moments. But no, they know his backstory. No, they want a washed-up cop, but also one who's talented in the field of shooting people. So, yeah, not many cops have the ability to slow down time when they leap into prostitutes. So, that makes them pretty unique.
That's a pretty good talent to have, I must say.
Either way, avoid it like the plague. Not a good game at all.
I mean, that's up
I
there
didn't
with
touch the multiplayer, not interested in that.
No, okay.
And they're still bringing out DLC for it now. Just a few weeks ago, so a new set of maps came out for it. And that seems desperate, because I can't imagine lots of people...
The obvious thing behind DLC, I guess, is that if you're trying to...
Money!
Grab money. If it's already produced content, which 99% of the time it's already been made. Yeah. It's already there.
Or partially made.
Yeah, it may be the team that aren't needing to be paid any more money to finish it, let's say.
Or they hand it off like Gearbox did for Borderlands.
You then just, it's just a bit of extra cash, even if not even 10% of people get the DLC, it's still free money, I suppose.
Yeah, what you're saying is the break-even for DLC will be a very low number of purchases, so there's no downside for them, essentially.
Exactly, and I think it's just going to continue going. Whereas in the past, it would just be left on the cutting room floor, or it would have been like a slightly longer delay before the game's out, and it would have been incorporated into the release version of the game. Now it's a case of, it's fine. We'll just release the game now. That stuff's not necessarily needed. We'll just launch that in a few weeks' time for a bit of extra cash. We're not cynical or anything.
No. Yes. You've been playing something, maybe?
I've been playing a lot of XCOM.
You have? And you finished it?
Yeah.
Finally.
Well, the original file that I started, and I realized, I think I spoke about this in the last podcast, I fucked up the feng shui of my base. So I then started the game again, and then something, I don't know if I wasn't totally paying attention, but something awful happened, and I got really unlucky early in the game with certain missions. People ended up dying from really jammy shots and stuff.
It's a very safe bet to assume that you aren't paying attention.
I thought, fuck it, I'm restarting it over again. So that was only after maybe about an hour or something.
Yeah, that was only a mission or two in.
Then I restarted it and then blasted it all the way through, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really did, and it felt like they could have maybe squeezed in a bit more story. I know it wasn't a story-driven game per se, but it felt like they decided to just drop the whole plot of the game, I guess, on you in the last hour. Let's call it, I suppose.
Yeah,
a bit cloak and daggers-ish, but they could have had more of that rather than just relying on the actual missions, the actual gameplay, I suppose. But
I think it would have detracted from it if, say, they had to have the aliens speaking English to you early on so that you knew their goals.
I don't know.
That would be that would be the alternative.
I don't think necessarily they would even have needed to do that. Maybe even if they just had.
Well, Independence Day, they're just there to blow shit up because they're aliens.
No, it's just some of the human people within your base commenting on what's going on, etc. Could have worked, but. I don't know. It just...
I could actually hear that train of thought derailing. That is so amazing.
Yeah.
There was a problem with the trains, then the cart came off, and then it was just off the tracks.
I got distracted from fucking Irish sending me messages on Steam.
Type back in full capitals, fuck off, I'm podcasting.
Or, in fact, I'm on busy. What the fuck?
Oh.
I'm busy. That for shame.
And that do what I say.
Podcast.
Do what I say, not say what I do. Well, while you reply to him in that very polite way I told you to, I can't remember if I mentioned last time, but I finished Binding of Isaac. I think I might have mentioned I was playing it, but I have now finished it. I killed Mom. That's the achievement name you get when you do it. So yeah, it's still something that you can just pick up and play when you get the itch because it's so utterly random. I think I might have semi-cheated on the time I did it as well.
How so?
I was uploading to YouTube in the background, and I think Flash or Java or whatever was playing up. So it was kind of running a bit slow every so often, so it was making it very easy to dodge attacks.
So because it was going slowly, you were seeing... Right, okay.
Yeah, I got the reaction time of when I was 15 again rather than now. It was just instantly just dodge.
So it was like playing Max Payne.
Yeah,
you were getting bullet time.
I was getting bullet time, only not constantly, just every so often. But the last boss is a very busy fight, so it happened more there than just as you're randomly going through the dungeon. So I think that's what clinched it.
So you're saying to anybody wanting to finish the game, load up some flash heavy stuff and hopefully grind it down a bit.
When I first started, I asked someone I know who has it, got any tips, or is it just all luck? And they said, yeah, it's kind of luck, or you can find a way to lag out Java, or Flash rather, and that'll help you. So I did it.
So you did?
Inadvertently, it's not my fault the damn thing was struggling.
Dirty, haxing bastard.
Yeah, okay. Next game on your list? Bet there isn't one. Oh, no, there is. I know one on your list. One that shouldn't be there, but it is. That dirty secret you've got.
Dirty secret?
The dirty thing you keep on going back to, playing for an hour over and over again.
Yes, I am forever going back to the slot that is Skyrim.
What? You do intend to finish it one day, Kev?
I have finished it.
Okay, but the main story's crap. You need to do the side stuff. That's
I haven't
the good stuff.
100% done all the side stuff, but I've done a lot of it. I have. It's not so much a short attention span. It's just that
you are indecisive.
I'll play a hack and slash thing, and then I'll get tired of being a hack and slash type character and go, I want to be a mage now. And then
I'm bored of being a mage. I'll be a thief.
Yeah.
Now I'll be a thief mage, and now I'll be a mage warrior, a thief mage warrior.
Currently, this one is like a dual wielding sort of warrior type.
What I really like is your indecision just isn't Skyrim, it's everything. It's annoying sometimes, but it's also very funny that at least you're consistent with it.
When is it annoying?
Indecision is often annoying. Like if I give a choice of what to do in an evening, what game to play, I don't know.
The reason why is because I'm not fussed. I have the same problem with my girlfriend, actually, where it's like, you pick something. I'm like, I don't care between A or B. In fact, fuck it. I don't care between A to Z. It's all, just do whatever. Kill the monkey. I don't care.
Wait,
scratch that. No, don't talk about the monkey.
Scratch the monkey.
Scratch the monkey. That's his name. And his crime.
And the act you performed on him.
Yep.
One of many.
No, it's usually because I don't care. The Skyrim-itis, as I now call it, is it's a different problem altogether. It's not indecision. It's that I find myself getting tired with doing something that's becoming a bit repetitive and want to try something different, something fresh, something new.
That's why Dreadmore is so perfect for you, because you can die so easily.
There is that, but the problem that it faces, the big problem I get with it, I suppose, is that if I'm playing a game, for example, and at one point I was trying to play Dreadmore, Skyrim, XCOM, and a few other bells and whistles on the side, and without having some sort of leash to pull me in one direction, I end up having too many games to play at once that I haven't finished. I mean, let's go back and look. At least I finished XCOM, right?
Yes, yeah.
Right,
yeah.
So that's done. But there's still Assassin's Creed. There's still
3, not the first one.
No, I finally got through all those. But I still have Assassin's Creed 3. I've still got Space Marine. I've still got Black Ops campaign to finish off. I think that's actually it. Because on the side of that, I mean, technically, I suppose I've got Dreadmore to finish too, and technically I'm still playing Rocksmith, but it's more, that's going to be an ongoing thing. I'll be doing that till something better than Rocksmith comes out.
Yeah, I've been playing Rocksmith as well, but nothing really to comment on it. It's just I've been playing it more as well.
So I'll keep doing it, and it's the same with everything. If I get tired of the grind, I'll just try and pick something else up. I'm the same at work as well. It drives people bonkers, absolutely nuts.
I'm not surprised.
And it must, we did this a while back where we went and did one of those mental illness tests, and we went to OCD and all those things. I'm pretty certain that this is classic ADD of some form.
Probably.
Because I just need to have some sort of not incentive. What's the
blackmail? Bribery?
Not blackmail, bribery. I need stimulation. I need constant stimulation. I need someone to constantly flick my nutsack. My gaming nutsack.
Okay. Yeah, you're speaking metaphorically here, not literally.
My metaphorical nutsack.
Your gaming nutsack is full of nuts.
And games.
Mostly nuts.
So, what else have you been playing?
What else have we played through the latest Borderlands 2 DLC? I don't believe we spoke about that last time because it wasn't out yet, I think.
We were talking about getting it.
Ah, that's right. I'm doing a playthrough of it, which we did. So that is on my channel if you want to go have a look.
You managed to squeeze 7 videos out for that.
Of us just doing the main plot as well, not all the... We didn't touch the side quests really, other than the ones that track as you go.
We could probably have squeezed in maybe another few hours, I suppose, of doing nonsense.
Yeah.
But, after you've spent fuck knows how long we've clocked up on Borderlands, I don't even want to know.
Plus, we're max level, so there's no point. But apparently, the final DLC is going to raise the level cap, so it's a good thing that we've kept those side quests open.
Well, what's the point? They should have had the level cap raise back in the first DLC, so that you can enjoy the new things from your level cap going forwards. How is it that us as gamers get this, and people who are making games don't get this? I don't understand.
Marketing bullshit.
But marketing bullshit is stupid. It's like,
Well, it's like Microsoft saying that 12% of people pressed on adverts on the new shitty Xbox dashboard, so that's enough justification to add more soon.
I hate them.
They don't listen to all the millions of people who say, "Get lost, that's too many ads." They listen to the minority because they clicked. So
12% is not an appropriate percentage of people to say that they approve. You see these adverts on the TV where it's like, it gives you shinier hair in 10 weeks or whatever. And at the bottom of the statistics, it's like 86% of people agreed. That's not saying 12% of people agreed.
Yeah, but they were probably lying.
And they were
throwing that out there.
But like, if they actually released a statistic of 12%, then
I might be slightly paraphrasing, but it was definitely less than 20%.
That's horrific. That actually says that like at least 80% of people didn't want it. So that's the majority didn't want it, and yet they still went ahead with it.
It's because when you're talking about adverts, it's click-through rate, so technically it isn't. They don't think of it as everyone else hates it. They just think everyone else isn't engaged. So we'll put more on there so they have to be engaged.
Or hate it even more.
Or they can actually, those kind of metrics are very easy to rig as well, because if they aren't adverts for, say, I don't know, like a drink or whatever, it's an advert for the latest demo released. They'll press on that because it's a quick link, because it's so fucking hard to find the demo section in the shitty layout.
It's
so
very true.
They can con the metrics. They can, if they're counting that sort of thing, because it does say advertisement for those as well, I think.
This is becoming quite an angry podcast. This is like very hateful.
Well, that's because it's the stages of being drunk. We started very overly jovial. Then we're going to turn a bit angry, and then by the end we're going to be depressed.
We'll be in the depressed, melancholy stage, and people crying, and
we'll call up Noodles and cry.
That shit was happening last night at that party.
What, people were crying?
Somebody was crying, actually.
Was it the person who was getting married?
It was a 40th.
I thought it was a
no. It was a
stag thing.
It was a 40th birthday party. It was quite entertaining.
Why?
Because the guy that's 40 acts younger than I do.
Oh, it's that guy you have a guy crush on?
No. He's young.
Okay.
He is younger than me.
So
I mean, what guy crush?
Somebody's got a toy boy. I'm sure your girlfriend will be very happy for you both. Anyway, moving on. I've also got my notes that I have XCOM. Why was that? Oh, that's because your bloody playing of it got me onto it again, and I started another file.
I think that's one of the reasons why you get annoyed as well. With my constantly bouncing around between different games and talking about them, you realise, oh wait, I kind of finished that 6 months ago, or
I only played
years
it through
ago.
the once. So
maybe I'm missing out on doing some other random sidey bits and pieces.
Yeah, or just trying a different setup, because I kind of decided with this playthrough of XCOM, regardless of what classes I end up with out of my batch of guys, I won't swap them out to get an elite set of what I know works. So my current setup, I think, is 4 assault guys, 1 heavy, and 1 sniper. Not ideal, but I'm running with it.
4 assaults could work.
I hope it is. It's working so far, anyway. I've got a question. What happened to Shogun? We haven't been on that for a while.
But that requires you to be around to do things.
I'm around. I'm here. Hello. Can you not see me?
No.
Oh, okay.
stuff has been around. We ended up getting stuck with Borderlands to get through.
Oh, that's true. The DLC came out, and
I was trying to blast through XCOM while you were uploading videos and things. And there's been stuff.
There has been stuff, yeah. And I've been playing Guild Wars 2 as well. I'll just throw that in there, but
that too.
Comment on it. But yeah, still enjoying it with friends. The last thing on my playlist, now that I've finished Max Payne, I've moved on to Sleeping Dogs.
Ah, okay.
Which is Grand Theft Auto with Kung Fu.
I can't think of anything better.
Yeah, I imagine the further you get in the game, the more guns will be prominent, but at least for the first few hours so far, all Kung Fu and all very enjoyable.
Would you rate it up there with Grand Theft Auto? Considering it's essentially a clone.
Too early to say yet. Plus, I'm playing the PC version and I'm not using a gamepad, so I do find the controls cumbersome with the keyboard.
Yeah, there are some games, they're designed for consoles.
The bonus for PC, though, is that it got a high-res texture pack.
Ah.
So it looks very nice with the high-res textures, that's for damn sure.
Shiny-fied.
So it's set in Hong Kong. You play as an undercover cop who's infiltrating the triads.
I didn't think if it was like a lot of kung fu that it was going to be based in Leeds or Wales or something.
They are kung fu masters in Leeds in their own minds. I was going to do an impersonation of a Leeds accent there. I'm so glad I didn't.
You realised you couldn't.
I think I possibly could, but I'm not going to try it. Because it will sound very racist. So no. Not that people in Leeds are their own race. They got out all the frog DNA years ago.
They replaced it with a horse DNA.
Horse DNA is the subject matter in Europe right now because apparently everything we eat has some of it in it.
Yeah, if you're not in UK or Europe right now and you're not familiar with our news,
we've all been eating horse.
This is our news flash that things that should be containing mostly cow are containing mostly horse.
Yeah.
But
don't eat burgers, it's horse.
Yeah, but not being advertised. I don't see anything really wrong with eating horse per se. It's more not knowing what's in the food that somebody's given you. Somebody gives you a beef burger, you expect it to be beef. If it tastes fine as horse, fine, but sell it as a horse burger, and I'll still eat it. I'll probably, if somebody started selling it, actively selling horse, I would try it. I've eaten kangaroo. Kangaroo tastes bloody good. Bloody great. It's good.
Bloody garoo.
I couldn't decide whether to say good or great. So I said garoo.
That was like, do you want to give it a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10? It's a dilemma.
One of my favourite meats is venison.
I don't mind venison as well. Nice. Yeah, people are very picky about it.
Kangaroo is quite comparable to venison. The tail, anyway.
Right.
That's the only piece that I've eaten kangaroo tail, which is what they put into like steaks and stuff like that. There's a place in the town that sells kangaroo burgers and kangaroo fajitas and things.
Oh, yeah, I know. I think I know the place you mean.
So kangaroo is very nice.
Yeah, there's people in my family who won't touch venison, and I quite like it.
I wonder why. People get funny about animals that they like the look of. People look at cows and think they're fucking ugly. I mean, on a plate they look all right, but out in the field, I don't really care. I wouldn't want one as a pet. A pig, nah, I'm not particularly interested as a pet, etc. But as soon as it looks nice and cuddly, and they're like, "Oh no, I couldn't eat that." People like that with rabbit. Rabbit tastes good too.
Haven't had rabbit.
Rabbit's
Why
nice.
are we discussing what meats we've had?
I don't know. I've been drinking.
I was talking about sleeping dogs, but okay, so
dogs. I've not tasted dog yet. That I know of. That you know of.
I mean, if you keep on eating the Tesco value brand, who knows? Other supermarkets are available, and they also have horse meat in their foods. If you believe the newspapers, anyway.
There was. This is the most extreme example, right? I think it was a Finda's lasagna. These are the people that made the crispy pancakes and stuff, right? Finda's lasagna. One of the batches that was tested was 100% horse meat. So it didn't even have any beef in it.
When they cooked it, they go, nay!
Oh, God. Anyway, moving on.
That's so stupid. That lasagna sounded like a horse. I had one stupid thing about Sleeping Dogs I wanted to point out so far. Is that it's a very lazy port from the consoles. so that when it's saving, it says saving content, please do not switch off PC. As if as soon as you save your game, you're going to hard reset the PC.
Yeah.
Why not just put now saving game, please wait? I mean, why only edit that one word? How lazy a port is that?
Does anybody actually hard reset their PCs anymore these days? I mean, is anybody really that daft?
Well, no, it's far easier to soft reset PCs these days than it used to be, but you know.
True. You don't have to get up.
Yeah, and we're all lazy now, so, you know, it fits. Is there any games left on your list?
No, but I would like to mention that the next step in human evolution will be that our arses will evolve into seats. So you'll just be able to sit down like wherever. I mean, I know you can sit down wherever now, but I mean,
unless we keep eating horse, in which case it might be a hind leg.
Yeah, we might grow tails and manes and run really fast.
So it's more like devolution rather than evolution. We'll go back to being monkeys.
Maybe that's why certain countries are really good at the Olympics, because
that's borderline positive racism. We not have any of that.
We're not allowed positive racism, no.
Yeah, we're not allowed negative racism. We're damn sure not allowed positive either.
I'm just saying that maybe if you ingest enough horse DNA, you might become like a horse. If I like been
find some of those crispy pancakes and eat them.
You'll see. Like I'll run a log where it's like, right, you know, how many weeks have I been eating nothing but horse meat, and then I'll run laps around the garden, and then I'll time myself.
Day 19,
see if it improves.
Starting to enjoy the taste. Day 57, nay.
Getting faster.
Do I regret it? Nay, nay, sir. I say.
The pubic hair around my ass is starting to grow exceptionally long.
What is wrong with you?
There's lots of things wrong with me. Least of all, my tail. I'm broken. Oh, dear
Calm
God.
down.
This wine is just lethal.
Stop drinking the damn wine.
I've nearly finished it.
Oh. What, the bottle?
No, it came in a box. A box that contains approximately 2 bottles worth of wine. I've not got the box here. I've just got a glass.
Oh, right, so you did mean a glass. That's
me and Brian used to do that, actually.
I know you told me this. You left the wine and shared it. Anyway, move on. We've played stuff. So pick a news topic.
Somebody
and
that
dropped something in the background.
My mouse. I dropped the mouse. Somebody that pointed out to us, it should be Ubisoft and not Ubisoft.
Yeah,
that's the new Assassin's Creed game featuring a new hero, different time period should be coming in, and I like that they do this fiscal year 2014 rather than in the year 2014.
Hang on, so is this an email you're saying, or
no? I'm just saying that, like, because it's Ubisoft and we got called Ubisoft.
Yes, yeah, by someone who speaks French, so we have to believe them.
I don't believe anything the French say.
No, neither do I. They're never mind. They are though. They are. So they are really.
Isn't he French Canadian? That's not the same thing.
No, it's worse.
Part French, part American.
That's how you make a Canadian angry. Don't do that.
Sorry.
Yeah, they do not enjoy being the 53rd state.
Neither would I, to be honest.
Well, Britain is probably more so that than Canada, to be fair. What were we talking about? We're getting off topic really, really quickly this time.
Assassin's Creed, new game.
Oh yes, the new game with undetermined plots and person and not really interested.
No, not in the slightest.
Didn't enjoy Assassin's Creed 3 enough to be excited. I mean, depending on where it's set, depending on who you play as,
I'm still holding out for like some sort of like UK setting. And I know that seems almost selfish and a bit silly, but
during like the Black Plague or something like that, Victorian times. Victorian times would be really good. Like if you played as Jack the Ripper, but he turned out to be an assassin, and say like the Templars sullied his reputation.
It's not too far away from the last outing time wise. I mean, like the gap hasn't jumped enough.
They're running out of unless they go further back. That would annoy me if they went back in time.
No, because that wouldn't meet with the overriding story arc of the games. The whole point that keeps getting dragged on.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm sure we've discussed this before about somebody emailed in. I'm sure somebody emailed in asking when we would what time period we were looking forward for or something. But we did suggest that before we heard about Assassin's Creed.
That was before Assassin's Creed 3. Yeah, I wanted feudal Japan, but unfortunately,
perhaps wartime Europe or something. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking. That would be the next natural step if they continue going forward in time, either World War I or World War II.
I would see them doing World War One rather than 2 because
2 is probably too recent. Yeah,
and it'd probably be a little bit more in line with them being able to keep the sort of stealth element going as well. I reckon.
Yeah. I would put money on it being World War One. I'd rather.
How much money?
Just money.
Just money.
Yeah, like I hack into Steam's wallet and just have all their money. It's been a while since we've mentioned that they have all money, but they still do. Assassin's Creed 3 sold 12 million copies.
That's not
which
bad.
It's more than not bad. That's very, very good. So it's kind of disappointing how subpar it is.
I mean, the gameplay is a bit weird.
They messed with the controls. The main character is shit. Dull. 2 was
Let's
the
not
best.
turn this into a Let's All Hate on Assassin's Creed podcast. We've hated on enough things so far.
Enough French things so far.
So.
But I complimented 2. I really enjoyed number 2. I'd say that's probably the best one. I just realised what I said there when you snickered.
Yes, I did enjoy number 2.
Most men do enjoy their number 2s.
I think that's to do with your prostate.
I mean, Picard certainly enjoyed his regularly. If fanfics are to be believed. It's my turn to pick something now, isn't it? Because that was you. What shall I pick?
Didn't talk about Devil May Cry in the last podcast.
I know, but that's because I know there's an email that mentions it.
Oh.
Yeah. Next gen consoles.
Hey,
they're definitely coming out this year. For 2 years now, I've been waiting.
They're not definitely coming out this year.
Well, with I don't want to use the word concrete, but with the consistency of rumours regarding them and a reveal even just before, because, we've moaned about this before, E3 is no longer relevant now because everything gets revealed before it.
Yes, it's like
the new consoles are going to be revealed before it and then shown at it.
Yes, that's now how that makes perfect sense as well. I get why that happens because you want there to be enough hype for people to go and track, or people going and visiting E3, for example, to know what they want to go and look at, so that certain things,
rumors, little snippets, little tasty crumbs of information is enough. You don't start a hype train going by having people start in the first compartment. You start them at the back and work their way up. I'm not quite sure if that metaphor works, but that's what I'm going for.
Yeah, right, okay. You want them to start on the ground up rather than at the top floor work their way down.
Yeah, otherwise the hype goes down rather than up. Or forward rather than back. I don't know, I need to...
Oh, it's twirling!
Twirling. Either way, I haven't really looked at the specs. I have heard horrible, horrible rumours that one of them has the anti-secondhand, always-on internet connection required.
I'd put money on neither of them being backwards compatible as well.
And much to my surprise, I would have put money on it being Sony that would do something like that because they're so desperate for cash. It's actually Microsoft that has the rumours regarding the second-hand thing and DRM always-on required, which are bad.
Sad thing.
Very, very bad things.
Angry.
It may be the first time I have to not get a new console at launch. I don't count handhelds as consoles for those being pedantic about it. And the Wii U doesn't count as a console either.
It's not fit to wipe my ass.
No. So yeah, I would have to think very hard about whether to stick with a Microsoft console, especially if the new next PlayStation doesn't have an always-on requirement and DRM. And
money might come into it as well, depending on how much they charge.
Yeah.
Because historically, neither of the three franchises over the last few generations have actually stayed consistent. Does that make sense?
They've kind of danced around, you mean, with what...
Yeah, well, Xbox has sort of been somewhere in the mid-ground. Obviously, the Nintendo consoles have been on the cheap side. PlayStation consoles have been pretty expensive.
Yeah, they made a mistake with the PS3 at launch.
Oh,
price point wise, that's for damn sure.
They screwed themselves. So I don't have the statistics here, but I'm fairly certain that they didn't really hit their stride until a couple of years after launch when the price had come down a bit. Mm-hmm. And Xbox figures still come out saying that in the US that they tend to be the biggest selling console month on month.
But in Japan it's the opposite.
Well, yeah, but I don't live in Japan. I don't live in America
I'm just saying, it's not like Sony's getting their ass kicked everywhere,
no.
and in Asia they're not. So I don't know, it might be time to switch to the next Sony thing being
there are a
the main
couple
console.
Of big things that I will be looking out for the next consoles.
I find the PSN layout far less annoying than the new Xbox One.
PlayStation Network as a product, as a utility, is awful. I mean, before we started using Skype to do all of our chat, and well, even after then, still trying to hook up a game on their network.
Online on PS3 is quite bad, but that might be fixed for the new thing.
Perhaps they'll either make it better or they'll actually make you pay a subscription, which I would be fine with. I do not mind paying for something as long as I get something back.
Yeah, whereas right now we're subscribing to Xbox and still getting adverts. They should be there for silver members only.
Yeah, I agree to that. But yeah, it's tricky. It'll be interesting if both of them are to be launched side by side.
Yeah, release dates are going to be an interesting thing. So that's what I'm looking forward to hearing at E3. Price point and release date are always the two most important things.
I would love to see them both released side by side.
Because spec-wise, they'll probably both be near enough identical. People will argue every tiny little thing, but they'll be identical.
Yeah, it won't be over the specs of the machine. It'll be of all the extra bells and whistles. You know, whether or not you get content that you get for free, or
the features or lack thereof.
I mean, one thing that might hopefully be improved is some means. This is what I really want. I want some means of being able to connect the console and the PC together in a meaningful way. So say we use Skype for the audio. Let's say maybe the audio was improved for the standard chat on the console, but you could record it properly.
That would make things easier.
It would. And it would mean that people could join us to play games and they could still hear their voices back. Yeah. Whereas at the moment, the reason we don't do an awful lot of that is that we sit in a private Skype call.
Yeah, we don't use the in-game chat. We don't use Xbox Live parties or anything like that.
This is the other thing. We've desensitized ourselves to the slur that comes from public chat. We're not used to it. We've been away from that for too long. We'll go back and we'll be hearing all of the racist and your mother nonsense from 6-year-old kids that you'll probably just turn the console off and cry in a corner.
Can you remember any of the project names for these new consoles? Not the names of the consoles themselves, but just their code names. I hear the Heavy in the background. Yeah.
Excuse the Heavy. He hasn't been fed this evening. No, I don't remember.
You call your cat? I know she's fat, but Jesus, it's not nice.
I don't remember either of them. There was obviously the whole like Xbox 720.
Wasn't there Durango?
Wait,
something or other.
Yeah, wait, Durango and Orbis.
Yeah, those are wonderful names. Those are definitely the final names.
Mind you, I mean, it couldn't be as bad as the Wii U or the Wii.
Yeah, just go with PlayStation 4, Xbox 720. Thank you very much. I will be annoyed if they don't. So it's your turn to pick something now.
I don't actually really have anything.
Oh, okay. Well,
I do. It's cool. This is the right. Further going on about how bad Nintendo consoles are, and I've talked about in the past about the problems with the controller, where if you want to connect it up and charge it in, you'd have to be plugged into a wall and still all sorts of awful things that I've heard about the Wii U.
Yes.
This person had a problem with his Wii U, and he'd bought loads of Nintendo content and stuff. He'd bought loads of games on their store and so on. He had all this stuff tied to his ID. Same as you would, like, your Steam ID. And you're going, well, that's fine with Steam, or whatever, Xbox or whatever. You've got all these things that are tied to your account. Your computer bricks or your Xbox bricks, you go and buy a new one. Yeah. And then you log in with your ID and you re-download the game stuff. That's a pain in the ass, but you re-download them, they're there.
Yes.
That doesn't happen with the Wii U.
Why not?
Because what happens is if you get a new console and you try to then put your ID on it, it says that your ID is already in use because it seems to be that the ID is tied to the console.
And you can't recover your Xbox tag.
This is from an individual that spent something like $400 or $500 worth of the DLC and so on, right?
Yeah, and digital games.
He bought his Wii U and he had other problems and stuff, so he went out and he got it replaced at the store that he bought it from. He couldn't set up the same ID that he used in the first system, so he had to make a new ID. And he found he couldn't get all of that content onto his new Wii U because they were locked onto his broken one. He didn't have the broken one.
That is really stupid.
So it's like, right, you would think that they would just say, right, what is your Nintendo ID? This is my Nintendo ID. Your console breaks, you buy a new console. What's your Nintendo ID? Oh, it's this one. All right, okay, here we go. Load it up. These are all the things that are tied to you. I mean, how many computers have I gone through since I first got Steam? Irrespective of the games that I've bought through Steam, stuff that I've registered to my Steam account. I mean, that's been going on since, I think Half-Life 2 was probably the first game that I got that was tied to... and that's when they started with sort of almost like the always-on sort of side of things.
So did this guy try and contact Nintendo about it or anything?
Well, apparently what he should have done was contact them in the first instance before he did all this. But the natural reaction that you get is that if you bought it from a place and they go, well, it's within 6 months warranty, they take it back or whatever. You don't go straight to the manufacturer. You go back to the retailer.
That's really weird that they would do it tied to the console and not the account. It's stupid.
Basically, they're saying that the guy was obviously frustrated. He had the right to the games. He paid for them. He transferred them to a Wii U. So what if his new network ID didn't have a record of his purchases? And you, the Nintendo, did have a record of the purchases. They registered to a page linked to his official Nintendo ID. A different ID that isn't tied to the Wii U. So you have like your Nintendo Club ID that registers all of these things, and you have your Wii U ID.
They can't have been as arrogant as to think that their Wii U, I know it's a dated piece of shitty hardware, but that it wouldn't break.
It's not even that. It's just like, surely there should be something in the background that just goes, like Steam, what's your account name and password? You log in. These are all the games that are linked to your account name and password. Are they on this console? No. Do you want to re-download them? Yeah, please. It's as simple as that. But
yep. Even if there is a limit to the number of times you can download, I know some things do that, like digital games on the PSN and Xbox, or sometimes you can do it, say, 3 times max in its lifetime. That covers you for 3 consoles, so that's fine.
A further fault with the Wii U. I don't need to say any more, really.
Well, I did have one thing on the Wii U. The Monster Hunter game that's coming out for it, it's going to be region locked for playing online, which is causing a bit of an uproar. And also, I can't remember if it was the Monster Hunter game. Oh no, Rayman Legends, which was due out now for the Wii U, has been delayed until September because it's no longer a Wii U exclusive because no one bought a Wii U. They're making it for the 360 and PS3, so they've delayed the Wii U version and it's all coming out in September.
So because their console's crap and nobody's bought it, the game that people were supposed to get as an exclusive to that console, people are going to have to wait, even though it's ready for that console.
Yeah, it's ready.
It's ready on the other consoles. Yeah. No, you wait. We'll wait for the big boys to come to the table.
It's the 3DS all over again. I'm so glad I wasn't even tempted by the Wii U because Nintendo have done it again.
No, let's not bother going into this in depth or anything, but I was at one point over the whole, where I used to live and my setup and so on, that I could go and sit in the can and play the game while I was taking a dump.
You were so looking forward to playing with Mario on the toilet.
I was.
You can put that on the back of the box. Blighty, I was so... So what were you saying? Did I derail you again?
Yeah, I think I derailed myself a bit. Let's move on.
Let's not talk about the Wii U. So I do have a few more topics, but we should probably cover emails.
Oh, yes, that's a good point. There are quite a few to get through.
We do have a few, I know that. Yes.
You have a few, so I will go from the oldest forwards.
And now, to avoid an argument this time, because we had an edited out argument last time, if there's questions, stop at each one and we'll answer it, because otherwise we'll forget by the time we get to the end of it.
Okay. Well, you have to make sure that I've stopped talking.
Okay, I will try.
Before you decide to butt in.
Sometimes I can't stop the awesome train coming out my mouth.
Otherwise I would.
What is it with trains tonight?
You love trains.
Oh, I love
trains. You get that train simulator game.
Oh, tempting. It was on offer on Christmas sale. That's a Let's Play people would watch.
Shall I start?
Yeah, well, I was going to say, those train simulator games, it'd be so funny if there's an Easter egg in it where you can accidentally hit someone. No? Is that too morbid?
You mean like a woman tied to the tracks?
No, I mean like a very common way to commit suicide in this country is to wait on a train track until a train comes. I think a train simulator game would be made all the more interesting if there was a slight chance of an Easter egg where you hit someone.
And you have to send the driver for counselling.
Yeah, and then you play through the DLC counselling, and if you don't get a high enough score, he kills himself by walking in front of a train.
It's a vicious circle. Circle of life.
Train suicide is a vicious cycle.
I bet that's the reason why Thomas's tank engine always looks depressed. All the people that he's crushed under his wheels.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to the emails.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, this is quite a long one from Rory Belmont.
Yeah, I told him off for this wall of text.
So, he says, hello again, Blighty, and what's his name? He's really got it in for you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah.
Right. To start off...
He's Canadian, he can't help it.
To start off, I have a list of reminders for Who's It. Number 1, talk about Devil May Cry this time, since you completely forgot in the last podcast.
I also completely forgot this time as well, even though I had been playing it. I totally forgot to mention it last time because I did the review of it for Critical Gamer, so I'd kind of already put my thoughts out there. So you can read that for more information.
Yes, go visit Critical
Lamer, CG.com, UK, US, EU.
Go visit Critical Gamer to see the full review.
Yes, but I would just say that I liked it a lot. What surprised me the most was how traditional it was. It plays exactly like the other Devil May Cry games. The modern take on the story I enjoyed. People who are kind of riding the hip train, saying that it's crap without trying it, noodles, are wrong. They're very wrong.
Sucks to be them.
Ninja Theory did a very good job of it.
Good. Good. So you don't plan to do much more talking other than just reroute people to your full review?
Well, I put it in words there, and I've said it's good. If you want to know why I think it's good in more detail, it's there to be read.
And if you don't like it, go read that review, write something down yourself, and then come back to us for the next podcast.
Don't just look at the score and then do it. Read my justification first, and then you can feel free to disagree, but read the bloody words.
Okay, number 2. Mention to Blighty how, in the iTunes list anyway, he has 2 podcasts listed as number 38 and number 39. Not saying drinking was responsible for this, but won't ignore the possibility either.
That is so well timed considering how drunk you are right now.
I'm not drunk.
Okay,
I'm nicely toasted.
No, I think you're slightly burnt now.
That's what that smell is.
You were nicely toasted, now you're burnt.
I need to go and play with Mario in the bathroom.
Mamma mia.
I'm not sure how that happened. I might go and have a look at fixing that. I might not.
No, I don't think you will fix it because you know it'll annoy me if you don't. If you do, rather.
Thanks for reminding me of that fact. So it's just to do with my whole numbering system, which normally happens for me looking at...
You don't follow normal
I don't follow conventional numbering systems.
Oh, you just pick what you want.
Yeah. Next podcast is going to be called Podcast 6 Batman Logo Alpha.
Exclamation mark.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Part 3, or number 3. Feed guy tied up in your basement so you don't have a repeat of last time.
Do we have a guy? Was that Noodles? I can't remember now.
It could be. I don't know. He's dead now. That's why he's not. That's why he's not in the episodes anymore. He is dead and buried under my floorboards.
Oh, so he was talking about Noodles then.
I don't know.
Oh, but he's dead.
That's me saying.
You can't feed a corpse. So
nope. Too late.
Too late.
Number 4. It's pronounced Ubisoft in French, not Ubisoft. But I'm not French, so I pronounce things Englishly.
You also got onto me about how I pronounce Square Enix. I say Enix, but I know it's Enix, but I prefer Enix, so I'm saying Square Enix.
Plus it makes you easier to say Squeenix.
Squeenix, which is an amusing word. I would still prefer they had remained Squaresoft, but...
Yeah. Number 5. I am not your secretary.
Yes, you are. Next.
So after that, it goes, with that out of the way, thank you for responding to my last email in your last podcast. That's what we do. But just wanted to clarify one thing.
Oh, dear.
I didn't conveniently forget to include Nintendo. They already have their system out, and it does allow for used games, so they don't apply to what I was talking about, which is why I left them out. This was
question. Does anyone remember what he was talking about?
I do. He was talking about the next-gen consoles. He was talking about like what we were saying just now, where
they might have no second-hand gaming. Yes.
So he's saying that this is Nintendo's next-gen console of the same generation as the what did we say that they were called? Durango and Mudkips. I can't remember what.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah,
whatever the new consoles are called, the Wii U is in the same generation as those. So when they're released, he's going to look silly.
It's going to be like putting a sports car next to a Flintstones car. Damn, I should have said trains. Can we do a take 2 on that? No, never mind.
Right, okay, so now Flik McScotsman was right that I said he was biased against Nintendo. There seems to be quite a theme of this podcast, which I stand by because a lot of people are. For the record, I'm not pro Nintendo either. I just think people tend to be rather unfair with them. I have a Wii and I enjoy playing games for it. Yes, yes, there are several games on it that are shit, but there are games on it I consider to be great as well. Yes, the graphics aren't as good as on my PS3, but I've never been turned off a game with a good story just because the graphics aren't super amazing. You've kind of maintained that for quite a few years, that a good story and a good plot and a good gameplay will always outrank good graphics.
Yes,
there are limits. There are always limits. Is that not?
Does he give examples of the games he's implying?
No,
about
it doesn't.
Which games in the Wii have a really good story? I'd be curious to know which.
You were
ones.
playing. What was it you were playing? Was it?
I was playing Xenosaga.
Xenosaga, that's it. Yes.
Yeah, I kind of burnt myself out on too much side questing, so I still haven't gone back to that yet. Oh no, it wasn't Xenosaga. It was Xenoblade Chronicles. Xenosaga were the ones on the PS2.
Yes. Xenogears and
Xenogears was on PS1.
That was a good game. I played that.
I know, it's on PSN. It's my favourite RPG of all time. Everyone go buy it. On the American store, not British store.
Yes, the motion controls are arguably unnecessary for a lot of games, but most of the ones I play use little to no motion control anyway. Now,
why have it? Why have it? Come on, answer that. Answer it now.
I'm sure you're already thinking, if it has no motion controls, then what's the point?
Yes. See, we think alike.
But really, not every game needs to make use of all the features of the system. I mean, the PS3 has that 6-axis thing, but how many games make use of that? That's a good question.
You sacrifice one thing, i.e. good graphics, for another, you expect the other to be both necessary and entertaining.
That's true. Whereas the 6-axis is just one of those tagged-on things at the end that's not necessary because you've got the good graphics, etc. There's no compromise. You're not compromising a decent-looking game and a decent playing game with the gimmick of the 6-axis.
Yes, Nintendo spent years working on motion gaming, rather than improving processors and such like.
Before you delve too far into that, the next sentence is, yes, I know the 6-axis feature wasn't a main selling point of the PS3, but my point is on not needing to make use of every feature available, not marketing.
Not needing and feeling like it justifies the reason you got the console and why the console is subpar in other areas is important, I think.
The point of the Wii, to me anyway, as a layman, that I do have a Wii, it is upstairs.
Layman, not layman.
Layman, I'm a layman. The point of the Wii was all about the motion control and about making games that were motion control integrated. It was a big...
That was such a big thing. That was the thing. That's why the Wii was so successful. Look at this. You can move your hand like you're playing tennis and it will actually do it.
But it just didn't...
People were so amazed, but that's why the Wii did so brilliantly. But then that was also their downfall. It sent them down the wrong path.
Okay, so...
And they almost took Microsoft and Sony with them.
Well, stop doing that. Plus, look at it this way. Who's the bigger fool, really? Nintendo for using motion control? Or Sony and Microsoft for ripping it off with the Move and Connect?
I swear, I've looked at the length of the email. I haven't read it. So this is very scary that I am guessing what he's about to say. You're right. Microsoft and Sony were really stupid with copying because they thought that's where the market still was. And so did Nintendo, and they all got it wrong.
Yep, they did.
At least
we told them that, though.
Yeah.
We said that in one.
Yeah, I sent an email to Microsoft saying it in big capital letters.
Oh my God!
Why?
You are the successors.
Yeah. For some reason, they took offence.
So, a lot of that could be carried over with my 3DS as well. So I won't go on much with that. Though I will say that anyone who accuses the 3D of being gimmicky yet still pays extra to see a movie in 3D is a hypocrite, in my opinion.
I agree, but I don't watch 3D movies, and so I'm not a hypocrite.
I would disagree, because paying for a one sitting movie, you're paying once for that, as opposed to paying for a console where you would hope to get 3D on everything and decent 3D on everything is different.
Oh, the argument you should have made was the one you made back when I first got a 3DS, was that the 3D in cinemas is different.
Well, the 3D in cinemas is better. I'm not saying whether or not, because I don't have 20/20 vision, so I do wear glasses. So
yeah, you're more like 5/12.
Some people apparently don't get the same effect from the 3D, but cinema 3D tends to be very good from what I've seen. A few films I've seen in 3D. I didn't like the 3DS 3D at all.
You tried it for less than a minute.
Yeah.
I will put asterisk there. Less than a minute.
That's how bad it was.
Yep.
I've seen them both, and there isn't a huge quality difference in the 3D itself, and any argument made against the 3D not adding anything to a game can also be made against it not adding anything to a movie.
Yep.
Of course, he who shall not be named by me will, of course, moan about it not having the second analog stick, and that the accessory...
I did moan about that once.
And
in your face.
The accessory for one is a money grab, but even if it is, what gaming company doesn't try to squeeze more money out of you? But Nintendo seemed to be worse for squeezing money out of peripherals, though. I mean,
Nintendo tried to release a sensor for your finger that measures your heartbeat.
There is... I mean,
case closed. Move on.
You can say that the Kinect and the PS Move are equally bad, but generally speaking...
Is the PlayStation Move endorsed by cows? PlayStation Move.
Move.
Why did you say it like that?
I don't know.
But you've not been having enough beef in your diet, so
it's too much horse.
Too much horse brings the cow out.
As for the Wii U, I haven't tried one yet, so I have no opinion on that as of yet. As you yourself have said about games, it may seem like a bad idea on paper, and it may not look fun watching it, but it could turn out to be actually enjoyable once you try it for yourself.
Oh, sorry, I thought it was over. I apologise.
I tried to have that same mindset with systems as well, which is why I have no comment for the Wii U. I have tried to Kinect, though, so I'm able to say that it's simply awful. You have to at least agree with the Wii is better than the Kinect, not just the 360 as a whole, just the Kinect itself.
I think the Kinect is better as an exercise tool, as I said a couple of times ago. But yeah, the Wii is better to control, that's for damn sure. Because it's simpler.
See, when I want to play a game, I don't want to be waving my arms around and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not interested in that per se. Rocksmith is different. I'm not playing that as a game. I'm using that as a learning aid, and I don't have to completely knacker myself out punching at a screen. Whereas if I want to play a game of like something like tennis or a sports game or something like that, I don't mind pressing quap, 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 quap on a keyboard.
Quap, 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 quap.
It's a very, very old reference. Google up.
Oh, quap. I get it. I get it. Yes.
Now I get it.
Now I get it. I thought you were making the Pac-Man noise.
Playing Pac-Man earlier.
I know you were. That's why it's in my head.
So, no, I don't agree with what you said there about it maybe actually being good when you try it, because they've basically geared this up to be the same as the current consoles. So why would I need to bother trying it? Because I've already got all of that in my Xbox and PS3 or PC. I get it that for some people it's a case of like one or the other, but I'm a greedy fucker, so I'll just get all of them. And then gradually over the course of time, filter out the chaff.
I have another theory about a negative about the Wii U, if you'd like to hear it.
I'd love to.
Would you agree that this is the age where online gaming is becoming more prevalent?
Yes.
More people do it. The days of people sitting around a couch are over.
Yes.
And yet most involvement with the Wii U has one person being like the games master doing things on the pad for the other people next to you playing. And as far as I'm aware, none of that applies online. You couldn't have like the games master with his gamepad and then playing with online people running through a dungeon.
No. But
so that's a flaw there.
It would lend itself very well to like the old sort of Dungeons and Dragons and things like that. That would lend itself very well to that.
Oh yeah, that's why I went with the dungeon master idea. But you would need everyone in the same house.
Well, there's that too. And as you've just said, we're going forwards in online gaming.
We're becoming more antisocial and doing everything online. Yes, it's far easier. You don't have to smell each other.
Find out what the statistics are for the sales of system link cables now compared to...
That'll be a picture of like a stick man hanging himself.
So take that as you will. I'm sure we will end up having to agree to disagree on the matter.
No, he'll see it my way.
Right. Next branch of the email. It goes on. One thing I do absolutely despise about Nintendo is that jackass Reggie from the American branch. And I blame him for much of the hate against Nintendo. I don't really give a fuck about him. I just don't like their products. But, you know...
He has a funny face.
He does. This was a few years ago now, I believe.
He has a really annoying E3 pose. During his keynote speeches, he's kind of like hamster evil pyramid of fingers.
I'm sure neither of you are aware of it since you don't have a Wii, but I do have a Wii.
He does, so do I. I stole it from my sister, but I've got one.
I do. It's just upstairs in the spare room, living on the fish heads.
It's in the white room. It's in the white room. Not in the black.
Yeah, not in the black room.
Yeah.
There was an interview with him, can't remember who was giving it, where they were asked why Fatal Frame 4 wasn't going to be released outside of Japan. If you don't know what the series is, it's basically a survival horror where you use a camera to fight Japanese ghosts. Sounds interesting.
Yes, I am familiar with it. I've never played one, but I am aware of them.
You only have limited film unless you play on easy, where you have an infinite of the weakest type, and enemies don't drop anything, so you can only find film and healing items hidden in the environment. The atmosphere was done really well, the stories are rather interesting, while using the camera as a weapon seems odd. The idea was to force you to look directly at the ghost to fight it. The games also usually have an invincible enemy, basically the final boss before you fight it, that you have to run or maybe hide from occasionally. Plus has ambient scares like non-aggressive ghosts that can sometimes become aggressive if you look at them, popping up behind you that you would only see if you turned around. Anyway, getting really off topic here. Basically, if you get the chance, you should try them. Fatal Frame 1 and 2 is on PS2 and Xbox, not on 360. Fatal Frame 3 is only on PS2. The fourth being exclusive to the Wii. Back to hating Reggie. Before I actually carry on reading, they do sound like interesting games, but because they're old games and stuff, I'm less inclined to go back and play old stuff. The only old things I go back and play are things that have some sort of...
Pulse?
No, I usually have to have some sort of sentimentality with it. Like there are good games. Like Final Fantasy Tactics. The graphics are very dated, etc. The gameplay is still top notch. But a lot of the reason why I go back and still play that game, aside from being one of the few decent games I have on a handheld device, is that I played it a lot when it first came out, and I have some sort of nostalgia for it. I won't be able to go back and play something that I didn't play that was released on like the PS2 or something. and still get that same effect because there's no nostalgia.
I agree.
So
this is a long email, isn't it? Because
it's a very long email. Back to hating Reggie, he claimed that the reason the fourth Fatal Frame game wasn't being released outside of Japan was because the developer didn't want it to be. However, after that interview, whoever it was got in contact with the developer to ask why they didn't want it released in North America. And they responded that they did want it to be, but Nintendo of America said that it wasn't what American gamers wanted.
I can add credence to that, actually. Would you like me to go into detail?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
It was something I was going to bring up after we're done with the email section. Regarding Dead Space 3 not being horror anymore.
Right, okay.
I know this. In an interview, the developer said that apparently Dead Space 1 was just too scary. Too scary. People died. Well, not really, but people found it too scary because there wasn't enough ammo and too many frights. They are very bad for the shock you moments rather than horror, but that's how they justify what Dead Space 3 is like and why they added co-op to it, which is a lie. I'd also like to point out that Dead Space 3 features microtransactions, so rather than scrounge for resources to make all the better guns you need to survive as you go further through the game,
you have to buy them.
You can just spend money on them and get them from the start. So that turned my indecision about getting it to an absolute never, ever, ever. Shame on EA for forcing them to do it, because that is exactly what happened.
That's a definite...
Not legally, just my opinion. What is really good about that example, though, is people found ways to infinitely collect resources in the game through glitches and posted them everywhere online. Just as a big fuck you to EA. Which I thought was amazing. It's just good on gamers.
So apparently, like going back to this this embargo or whatever,
yes.
They tried to get in touch with him about. So whoever this was tried to get in touch with Reggie after this about it, but he didn't respond. His friend imported the game from Japan and modded his Wii to bypass region locks, installed a patch that translated the menus and gave English subtitles, so he got to play it with him, and it's amazing. I'm sure it would have helped the Wii out a lot. Naturally, I can't help but feel that if the jackass blocked this game from making it over, he likely blocked several other games for the Wii just because they didn't fit with what he decided gamers wanted.
Well, he and his team of marketers that are just as stupid as
It's
him.
probably unfair to blame it just on him.
Yeah, it's not the one guy. He's a weird-looking, strange
he's
man.
He's not a weird-looking man on the front cover.
Yeah, he's the figurehead of a group of stupid people. Is the best way to put it.
This is the state the obvious bit. Well, that was rather a long, as I'm sure what's-his-face will give me grief for later.
Yep.
And I didn't actually have a question, but I hope it sparked some sort of discussion between you two. If not, then I'm somewhat sorry for taking up time. Until next podcast, Rory Belmont.
That sounds like a threat.
P.S. While I did review this for spelling and grammar errors, I'm quite tired after working a night shift while writing this. So if I missed anything, I apologise. Is that because I was having difficulty reading the last one? I can't remember.
I can't remember either. I do know that we're to thank for him getting through his night shifts because he's been listening to all the old podcasts.
He hasn't slit his wrists yet.
No. It beats the mundanity of a night shift, I guess. Is mundanity a word?
You made it a word. It is now.
Okay.
He sent in another email in the back saying, I forgot to mention about the Dreadmore being revenge thing. You're just upset that he hasn't died yet on Dreadmore, but he came close several times.
I think I accidentally got him off of it as well onto Guild Wars, annoyingly. So I accidentally cured the addiction that I caused.
With another addiction. It's fine. Well, don't worry.
Okay, another sort of addiction.
So thank you, Rory, for your exceptionally long email.
Use less words next time.
I need a drink. Like I don't mean alcoholic. I just mean something to.
You need a drink. To wet your whistle. Are you slurping? You are slurping.
So, on to the next email. This one's from Rory Wood, another regular.
Not the same guy.
Not the same guy. Hello, Batman and Wonder Woman. how are you liking Sir Hamlock's Big Game Hunt if you started it? We have, and we finished it. We've done an upload of the playthrough. This was before that started, though.
Yeah.
Also, when are we going to get the video of Blighty playing Dragon Ball Z Connect?
Oh, we can't, unfortunately, because the criteria for us doing it wasn't met.
Yeah, that's true. What was it? It was
a podcast getting to 1,000,000 views, I think.
It was something like that. I don't think it was quite 1,000, but
maybe 500 even now. It was the one we did around Christmas, whatever that was. But no, we never did it. So
it may still happen. Who knows? But we'll try and find some hoops for people to jump through first to see that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. If we're going to make fools out of you, not me. If we're going to make fools out of you, we have to at least have some hoops jumped through first by other people. But what was the first part of his
Hammerlock's Big Game?
Hammerlock's, yeah. We didn't say whether or not we liked it when we were talking about playing it.
I think somebody pointed out in one of the videos that the actual gameplay itself seemed pretty boring, pretty lackluster, but the banter over it kind of made it interesting to watch.
Resident Evil 6, we made a lot of our own fun, so that's kind of tarnished our image of it maybe being potentially quite bad, because we had fun just talking absolute garbage while we played.
But that's because that's what we do all the time anyway.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun.
It's that's one of the reasons why we always go for something co-op, because I might be playing something single player like XCOM or whatever, but we'll still have Skype on, so I can sit and rant about fucking sectoids or whatever. I don't mean having sex with them. I mean how annoying they are, or lack of.
One then the other.
But co-op games are always more fun. It's always more fun to share the experience with somebody else.
Yes, at the expense of the game. Or the
so Hammerlock's Big Game Hunt, yeah, it was all right. It's probably not the best DLC that's been out.
Yeah, I think the Torque one was still the best, and it wasn't amazing.
No.
Torque as a character has been the best DLC character.
Blowjobs! So, thank you very much, Rory, for your email and continuing to support us with emails. Otherwise, I'll have nothing to read.
Yeah, exactly. We need to keep reading.
Okay, on to the next one. This one is from Slimaz, aka Moose.
Another polite talker.
Salutations, noblemen of the Brain Go Hurty podcast. Today I come to you with a question that may likely delve into the realms of indignation and fanboyism. It is more of a serious discussion considering where we are in terms of this generation's consoles and hardware.
He didn't anticipate you being drunk.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh, people will learn. Learn. I recently bought a new desktop PC, which some would consider to be a very powerful gaming rig. Bought using the money given to me by student financial bodies for the purpose of my studies. Ooh. That is exactly what I did.
That's also exactly what I did.
I used my student loan to buy myself a badass PC because I had been waiting for one for a long time.
Exactly the same here.
So I approve. You have my support.
We approve, in brackets, it's still wrong.
It's still you'll pay that student loan back eventually. It's fine. I'm still paying mine back 10 years later, so don't worry about it. In response to this, my friend referred to me as having joined the glorious PC gaming master race. Yeah, congratulations. We hope you're comfortable here with the rest of us.
There is no PC master race anymore. Consoles are PCs.
I take issue with this description as it signifies a group I do not wish to be associated with, whether the statement itself is considered a joke, falsehood, or actual truth. It represents an issue that we as gamers, and he's put gamers in capitals and in red, should address.
Gamers!
I have always been just a gamer, not a PS3, Xbox 360 / Wii fanboy, or any other console or gaming platform under the sun. My roots are from the Sega Mega Drive, following on to the PS1 and forwards. Same as me, actually.
Good for you.
Actually, I had a Master System before I had a Mega Drive, but yeah.
Yeah, it is better to consider yourself a gamer rather than either what about handheld?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or tablet.
We are I got a feeling now that we are probably one of the select few people that just buy all of it. Because
we just game.
But that's because we are gamers. That's more or less all we do, and that's why, I'm staring at the setup in front of me and the PC and the Hopage of PS3 and the Xbox and my tone port and all this stuff is all merged into one
just having a smile on your face, nodding, going.
I'm just going. Yep. This is what I wanted.
Yep.
I wish I had a better seat, but my couch is arriving next week, hopefully.
Oh God.
You're gonna love it.
I'm gonna hate it.
So, I don't see.
Not that I'm sleeping on it or anything. How does that sound? Someone who doesn't know. I am not sleeping on his couch. I just hate the couch's pot because it is neon orange.
We'll get to that later. Don't worry.
Okay.
I don't see gamers on other rival platforms as enemies, but as fellow kinsmen, brothers in arms, championing our stories through this medium which brings us all closer as one, enjoying ourselves as we do so. Sadly. Sorry. No, go on.
I was going to say, when the great gamer war begins, I want to be on this guy's side.
Yeah, so do I.
The game war has.
Sadly, many people these days seem intent on creating divisions, which make themselves seem better and others worse. But I digress. What I ask you, good sirs, is, what is gaming to you, and how has it shaped your lives, habits, friendships, and outlooks on life?
Every time he emails in now, I'm going to imagine him speaking with Stephen Fry's voice. I think that would just improve it.
As I was reading that email, I had like the image of Sir Hammerlock as his face,
or Sir Hammerlock, yeah. Very succinctly.
It's a very deep question to ask on what is gaming to gaming to us.
That's a really hard question to ask someone who's been drinking and someone who loses interest in conversations very quickly.
I would say to me that I think gaming to us is it's not everything, but it's a very big part of what we do. I mean, you essentially that's your job now. I guess.
Yeah, trying to be entertaining via gaming is my job.
And the fact that we do a podcast about gaming means that we obviously care about it enough to warrant spending time talking about it and editing it and doing all that sort of shenanigans rather than actually gaming.
Yeah.
It seems almost contradictory. Anyway, habits. Well, I don't drink an awful lot, contrary to what you might believe. I don't drink a lot. I mean, I
just on podcast nights.
I don't. It's not that I don't go out a lot, but I do find that rather than sitting in front of the TV or watching loads of movies and stuff, that I prefer something a bit more interactive, and that's where gaming comes in. And I still socialise through it because I've always got Skype on, I'm always chatting to somebody.
Yeah, exactly,
And I don't play an awful lot of single-player stuff, and even when I do, I'm still talking to other people anyway. So it's not about being, a hermit. Friendships, well, some of the people that I speak to, I suppose, are people that I've been friends with for God knows how long. I mean, CR that sometimes drops in and out of the podcast and stuff, and it's part of the community for BGH. He's somebody that we met many, many years ago through gaming. Okay. I've never met him in person. It could be a really old woman for all I really know. Just
he sounds it.
He sounds it. But yeah, we met him through that, and that was fucking hell. By the way, that's 12 years ago.
Yeah,
we've known CR for 12 years. That's pretty horrific. Sorry, CR. We need to get him over to Scotland at some point so we can bury him in the garden.
Bury him in the
outlooks on life. It's I don't know whether or not gaming changes my outlook on life.
Enjoyment changes your look of life, whatever.
I find people that I know that are constant gamers, let's say, are less likely to be depressed about things. We might be more cynical about certain things, but we don't get fed up with life per se, because I suppose you've always got that escape, I guess, because you're part of the story, you're in the story, if you know what I mean, because you're having some sort of impact.
Yes, escaping into fantasy is one of the plus points of gaming.
There is that, yes.
Even if the fantasy is actually something modern or sci-fi.
Yeah.
Just the general theme
or
of
deeply disturbing.
Or deeply disturbing. Example?
I was thinking of Noodles' Cripple Simulator thing.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
So, P.S. Apologies for the long email. My new monitor has high resolution.
That's not
more so than it's used to.
That's a non sequitur.
So I may have written more than I intended. See, he's in the same boat as me. You're using a giant TV. He's not. He listed his PC specs, which I'm not going to list here because I would be here forever. But it's a 24-inch HD LED widescreen monitor, so it's not as big as mine.
God's sake.
What I will say is get rid of Norton. Norton antivirus is listed among
God.
Norton is horrific. Get rid of it.
Yeah. Do not
seriously.
use Norton or McAfee, McPhee, whoever you want to pronounce it.
So,
thank you for the email. And it wasn't the longest one we had this week.
So, thank you, Slymads.
Do not compete with each other for the longest email.
Yeah, do not. Or I will start, just randomly retyping your emails for my own pleasure. So, I will put words in your mouth and you will not like to taste.
Dictate one to your brother and we'll read your brother's interpretation. That would be so good. We should do that.
Should we move on?
One of the ones from this week we'll read it out to your brother, and then next time read out his typed version of what you said.
Chinese whisper without the Chinese. Okay.
Your brother's a little Chinese.
The last email.
Hey.
This one is from Kwiku, who is one of the regulars on the Facebook page.
Hello. Facebook.com, Hurty, blah, blah, blah.
Hopefully more people get involved in the Facebook page so that we can just randomly banter backwards and forwards with you.
I have taken to putting some more random stuff on there recently.
Good. Oh, yes. Turnip.
Turnip, yes. Everyone vote for Turnip. They'll know what they mean if they go have a look.
So, dear Flik and Blighty, in America, there has been an uproar on gun control because of all the senseless murders like the Sandy Hook in my town, where
I knew this podcast would end on a depressing note.
People died because... Shall I skip through some of this rather than being...
Well, I think everyone who needs to know knows what happened and why.
It's detailed over the incidents with Sandy Hook and the Dark Knight Rises theatre shooting and so on.
Yes.
So I think most people know about these incidents, so we don't really need to cover off the details of that per se.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the end of that if you don't mind too much, Kwiku.
Mm-hmm.
So
we read it, or you read it.
I have read it, yeah. I paraphrased it a bit. So ever since then, and along with many other shootings, the government is trying to put a ban on assault rifles, which I don't really care for, but the way that they're trying to get them banned is stupid. They're trying to blame video games for people's violence in America, and are specifically targeting major shooting games such as Call of Duty and Battlefield.
Wait, I'm confused. Wait, they're using gaming as an excuse to get real assault rifles banned. Is that what
it seems to be what he's saying, that people that are playing games are the cause of it, but...
Right, so the people who are lobbying to have, say, serious weaponry in the US, like assault rifles, you don't need a bloody assault rifle in your house. So let's say that the people doing that are blaming games. I'm kind of okay with that. It's not the right reason, but if it gets those kind of weapons banned, I'm all for it. Yeah.
It's a means to an end.
Yeah.
But he's saying that they're doing all this instead of tackling the real problem, which is the crazy idiots that they give these dangerous weapons to. Some people blame video games. Some people blame TV. Some people go as far as to say that the government orchestrated all of these events just to get rid of all our guns. Now, my question to you is, if you lived in America, what would your thoughts on this be? Sincerely, with gaming love, Kwiku.
I think my thoughts would be, ow, I've just been shot.
Thing is,
probably.
Guns aren't really a big issue here in the UK. The reason why, they're not freely available for civilians.
You have to have a really stringent license that's reviewed constantly, because my grandfather was a hunter, so obviously I know how this all works.
Did he kill vampires, or?
Yeah.
Oh, right. I was just trying to work out what sort of hunter he was.
You know, Bambi's mum? That was him.
Oh.
Venison. It's good for
venison. It's what's for dinner.
I grew up watching many deer get gutted, so I'm immune to that.
Then you moved on to hookers.
Yeah. Damn it. We proved them right.
No, we don't. Because we don't really have guns over here. Gun crime isn't really that big a deal. It's knife crime that they talk about over here.
Knife crime.
It doesn't really get hit up with the same stigma from games, because you don't play an awful lot of games where it's like knife orientated. Knives are freely available for obvious reasons, but because we don't have guns, we don't need to worry about them, and I don't think you guys need guns either.
That's not to say that it isn't happening here. Once in a blue moon.
Oh yeah, there's still
things do happen involving guns.
Yes, we have had some pretty horrific incidents with primary schools being shot up and stuff here too. But I think that the root of the problem tends to be that being essentially a British colony, And then when you decided as a country that you were going to be your own country and you didn't want to be ruled and taxed by
Are you talking to Quiku now, or are you talking to
Quiku
a personified America?
I'm talking to Lady America.
Lady Liberty.
It seems like you kind of made the decision that you'd set out all of these, like...
the right to bear arms
the rights for people to have that you don't want to change at all, which might at the time have been relevant, but are no longer really that relevant and should probably be changed.
No, you're wrong. If they change the constitution so that they're not all armed, the British are coming.
Oh, don't tell them that. I'm trying to subvert them.
Damn, sorry. I mean, we all have red coats in our cupboards just waiting.
This is me doing my bit for
I totally forgot
Queen.
They told us to do that. I'm so stupid.
We're trying to get them to lower the defences a bit so we can sneak past the censors. We're coming for you.
The redcoats are coming.
We're coming, but we're not bringing guns.
We're bringing knives.
We're bringing
knives to a country that's armed with guns.
No, I don't think you need guns, and it's the whole people need guns because other people have got guns, and it's like catch-22. You just go round and round and round in circles for no real reason, and if you just got rid of all of them, you wouldn't have the problem.
Blaming games is easy.
But then you would get reinvaded by the British.
You would, yeah. If games weren't there, it'd be movies.
Historically,
movies,
yes, it's gone, music and films.
It's not gaming, music, it's religion. If it's not religion, it's something equally as inane.
So...
People will find an excuse because people want a reason, and sometimes excuses get used instead of reasons.
That's very profound. And people are just bastards. They're bastard-coated bastards with an inner centre of crap.
Well, I don't really want to end on a depressing note, so I could move on to a slightly controversial one.
Let's do that. Controversy is my thing.
The final thing of the podcast is something controversial. Did you know that Tiny Tina in Borderlands 2 was a big racist?
The actor or the character?
The character, apparently. Someone complained via Twitter to the writer of Borderlands 2 that they felt Tiny Tina was offensive to black people.
I was going to say, is this because she was white?
She was using...
Right, okay.
Because she was white and she was using traditionally black slang. A white person got annoyed about this and called it racist. So they complained and they had a Twitter argument with the writer about this, and it pretty much ended with the writer taking the stance that if enough people complain, we'll not have her in the next one.
That's stupid.
That is stupid. And as per usual, it's not any of the black community getting offended by her and the lingo she chose to use, which isn't black exclusive, might add. It was rap lingo, and there's plenty of white rappers.
There are.
So, yeah, it was a white person getting offended on behalf of black people. And that's not racism, it's stupid.
That's just stupidity. Never underestimate stupidity. It will always somehow manage to just surprise you. Somebody will do something so ridiculous that you won't be able to believe it. And it'll happen on a daily basis.
The person who did this is a freelancer who's working on some World of Warcraft card game thing. And he's now out of a job.
Sorry. Wait.
Apparently it was a mutual decision to leave. So yeah, there you go.
A mutual decision between their foot and his ass.
Don't start shit on Twitter pointlessly is the thing to learn from that, especially when it's getting offended on behalf of the people who are not offended.
Yeah, people need to pay attention to just how worldwide Twitter really is, and anything you say on there can be taken in any different way by any person on it.
Now, technically, like as an example of what would be okay, if I found who wrote Assassin's Creed 3 and complained about the stereotyping of Scottish characters in it, I might technically still be considered wrong, but at least I have grounds to do it. Because we're not all giant, ginger-bearded, kilt-wearing drunkards.
But we might have been then. And it was historic. It was a historic setting.
They were not all. They probably would have had to be forced to cut their beards for a start, because even in the military today, facial hair. Beards aren't allowed.
They were mandatory in the past.
What, full beards I'm talking about, not just facial hair?
Well, it used to be mandatory for you to have like a mustache and so on, at the very least.
Well, that's because you had to be gay. No, it's because you had to not be. I got it the wrong way around. Like That's what he said. And on that note, on that promissory note, we should probably stop. If anyone wants to get in touch, I don't know why you would, but if you do,
if anybody really wants to disturb themselves, go onto Google and type in mandatory mustache. There's some horrific pictures on there. In the meantime, though, as Flik was rudely interrupted there, bringohurty@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. Or you can go onto facebook.com/bringohurty.
Or the other stuff.
The Steam community, just look for Bringo Hurty, you'll find us. Just Google it in general, you should find anything. His YouTube is Flik FFXI, and mine is A Blighty Warrior.
Yeah, I noticed on the last podcast you added an extra F again. I think you did on purpose.
No, I knew in the edit, but it was too difficult to edit out.
Flik FFFXI.
It's like the fascio
I
again.
sat on the keyboard.
It's got a joke.
Very drunk. Oh, this is the bit where you fade out, isn't it?
It is. I don't know whether I wanted to fade out a lot sooner because I need to pee, or I don't know. Like I could just sit here and
I'm going to be cutting short on mine so I can have the fancy new outro up here with clicking to new videos.
Oh,
isn't that fancy?
Sexy.
That's what I spent my Saturday doing, making that damn thing and working out how to do it.
Today?
Yeah. Well, today's Saturday. Yes.
I see.
Spoilers for when we recorded this. It's not our usual day.
Saturday. Not on a Friday night.
Yeah, nobody works for Friday night. Strive hard, play hard. That's our motto. You're smoking again. Your damn
that was me
pipe.
just.
I heard the kind of the inhale first. Yeah, that. As you do it, you liar.
It's not a pop pipe or anything. It's just.
It looks like a pop pipe.
But normally after I finish the podcast, I go for a smoke.
Is that because it was good for you too?
Just like after sex. I can do that now.
What, sex? You get that problem?
Do you know, it does look a little bit like a sex aid. And I was trying to explain this to people last night, and then they started sniffing the end because it's like strawberry flavour. And I was like, as I was telling them that, it could also be a sex aid, I suppose. And that didn't stop them sniffing it.
That's what she said. I think we're done.
I think so.
Hooray!